welcome back to another episode of the Tenerife Pod, sponsored by BGR Solutions. For those that don't know, I'm Jenny T, here with my co-host. We have Steve Ballard.
Hello again.
And Chris Elkington.
Hello, once again.
Hello, we've got a special episode today. Excited to get into it. Can we just check on you both? How are you doing?
Not so bad. Yeah, I'm all right. I have had a good week. I really enjoyed our little bonus episode as well, which was a very nice thing to do all the comments and things. That was cool.
It was a lot of fun. You have just come in here just moaning about the man flu, though. You've got your whole,
I am feeling a bit rough, but be gentle with me.
We always are. Chris, how's your few days been since the bonus?
Yeah, it's been good, and we've had a really good feedback about that, actually, on the fact that we obviously highlighted some of the questions that people asked, and obviously some of the comments and reviews and different things. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's been good, and I'm looking forward to today.
It's going to be a special one today. I will mention, because I think anyone that's maybe watching on YouTube right now, we are live on Oasis FM Tenerife YouTube channel. You've probably seen the picture. It's all green. We are going green for Paddy's Day. We have a St Patrick's Day special today, and a very special guest, Fergal Flaherty, will be joining us very, very soon. Does anyone want an update on my nose?
Yes.
It looks a lot better, I've got to say.
Doesn't it? I've used nearly an entire tube of Savlon.
Do you know what, though, Jen? The amount of people that have... Because we made it a reel.
It's been a talking
point. What's happened to Jen's nose? And we did the ending that you had to listen or watch.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that have gone, what on earth? Did you get anybody ask you?
Well, yeah. So I didn't really make a big thing out of it
until
I was like, oh, do you know what? I've got this camera in my face. I didn't know you were going to make a reel out of it. So obviously that went out, and... I had people. I was busy. I was doing something. My phone started bing, bing, bing. I was like, I'm definitely not this popular. What's going on? And I had messages. What's happened to your nose? Are you okay? My mum was like, you didn't tell me you've hurt your nose. Like what? I was like, yeah, it's literally just. Anyway, watch. I was like, watch the pod, and you will find out, and you can see it for yourself. But it's a lot better. I've got a bit of concealer on. I've put some mascara on to try and distract from the nose today.
You don't look like Rudolph today, I must admit. That's, and also, I must be honest, we also had some really good feedback about you being a handyman as well.
I mean, if anyone wants to hire me, I'm down. I'm open.
I think it's for demolition only, though, surely.
I'd give anything a go at me, Steve. I feel like with technology now, with AI and Google, there's nothing I can't do. Nothing. So that's how positive.
Silence, yeah.
That's how positive I feel. I feel like today we should get cracking with some news stories of the week, stuff that's happened. So we're gonna go to you, Chris, and find out some of the latest news.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple. Oh. I forgot you like to play your little...
I do. Let me do it. It's part of the joy of the pod
for
me.
You might have to do it again because it was muted. So do it now.
Okay, right. I'll do it. Over to you, Chris, for some of the news of the week from the Canary Islands.
Well, there's been a couple of obviously stories affecting both residents and holidaymakers this week. One of the ones that's really had a lot of feedback has been about the housing situation. And this is some of the new rules that they've put in place for people to access social or public housing, which is the same in Spain or the Canary Islands as council housing back in the UK. Now, these new rules are actually part of what's known as the new Canaries Rule. All right, the new Canaries Law, sorry. They're bringing in all sorts of things which are part of this Canaries Law. And it's something that, without getting too political, but the Canary Islands President, Fernando Clavijo, is bringing in to protect the quality of life for residents and for people who live here to benefit solely them, obviously off the back of the increase of tourism, the increase of tourism income, mass tourism, etc. And one of the ones that he wants to protect long-term residents is by introducing that if you want to apply for social housing, you have to have been a continuous resident for at least 12 years. So that doesn't mean that you could have been here for a couple of years, gone back for a couple of years, come and gone. It's continuous. Now, obviously, as Brits, we're always very sceptical about everything, saying, well, we won't get them anyway, which is not true. If you've been here for that period of time, you can apply, you can qualify. There's other criteria, obviously, but yeah, people have got to remember that this island is, as far as expats is concerned, yes, the British market is a big one, as is the Italian market. More dominantly is the South American market. Yeah. And it's more sort of that market that is more transient, has more people coming and going. Right. So it's not to try and stop Brits getting houses. It's not because we've got people arriving on boats that obviously, as you can imagine, the comments have been, people coming on the boats from Africa going, oh, good, they won't get houses. Nothing to do with that. Don't get me wrong, though. If people are in particularly vulnerable positions, such as gender violence, domestic violence, being looked after by the social services, they will still apply for some sort of housing.
Is that different then? What's the 12 years? Was there any kind of period of time before that? Is this a new thing then for 12-year rule? Yeah,
it's a new thing that they want to bring in so that it's not just people turning up and jumping the queue, if you like. Also, let's be honest, it's because they haven't built any social housing in volume for a fair while, and there is a massive waiting list. Yeah. And also, it's to stop people from other countries just coming here and joining housing lists. Let's be honest, that's one of the main criticisms of Brits in the UK, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I would think so. Yeah, that's what I hear people moaning about all the time. Yeah, people jump in the queue
come over
and
here, apply for housing, get them free money. There's a lot of that sort of rhetoric going around, isn't there?
Whereas, we know, and particularly when, people like myself who've been here a long time, when I arrived here in the very early 90s, you had no help whatsoever.
Right.
Absolutely nothing. There's far more support and help now than there ever was back then. It was a different place, of course it was. There was, renting an apartment was easy, jobs were easy to get, and all the rest of it. Everything was cash. It was great. We had a great time. But the whole world's changed, and obviously the rules need to change with it.
So do we think it's a good thing? This is a good thing. Is there any downsides to it?
I think as far as the bigger picture in line with some of the other things that are coming into place, yes, it is. I think it is. The people who really need it, who, as I said, may be in a really vulnerable position, will still be able to get it. So it's not as though they're going to, if you've got a single mother with kids who's gone through an abusive relationship and needs housing, that's not what it's aimed at stopping. Yeah. All right? It's to stop people arriving and jumping on the housing list.
And there are criteria that will, I don't want to say bump you up the list, but they will give priority to over just your average. Say, for example, me, I'm, in the age that I am, I have a good job, I have a relatively decent amount of money, I can afford housing. I would not be in a position to apply for that social housing and be anywhere on that list other than at the bottom.
Even with man flu, that wouldn't.
You have to take that into account. I'm sniffling and everything. It's really terrible. I'm feeling very sorry for myself today. There's not a violin small enough, Steve. Okay, that's good. Anything else to mention on that?
Not on that one. I think the next one to look at is everyone's what a hot topic for everyone who lives over here or comes on holiday over here. Not Sunday lunch. No, not Sunday lunch. Another hot topic is traffic. And it's something, Steve, that you love because you have it on your afternoon show. Part of your banging banter is banging on about traffic.
I feel I need to because the Cabildo are really good because they have the traffic cameras you can watch live on the internet. So if you want to see what's going on with the traffic, there is an address that you can put into your thing to see the traffic. It's not live as in it's zooming through. There's a delay, but it shows you where the queues are. So obviously I'm performing a public service here, Jen.
Because every time I come into the studio in the morning, it's still on the screen. I'm like, Steve, mate, get a hobby.
The last thing I look at in particular is Junction 76 Fanny Bay,
at least those are the only webcams you're watching in the studio. There are a couple of presenters in the past.
I bet there were. Mentioning no names, but you know who you are.
Was it Jamie Drew? It was Jamie Drew, wasn't it?
Wow.
Definitely Jamie Drew. Okay. This is taking a turn.
But traffic is hot. Traffic is very hot. People ask me when I'm out and about, or they're like, so what are we going to do about the traffic? You tell us these things are bad, and what is there a plan? And I just say, I don't know. But maybe there is. I don't know.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, it's common knowledge that the tender has been put out, the plans have been approved, and so on and so forth for the third lane of the motorway between San Isidro and Adeje. Mm-hmm. Now, this is the main area they're talking about. And basically, the business associations such as CEST have now come forward and said that the traffic, or the congestion, the volume of traffic, there's about 100,000 cars a day pass through here. is now affecting the local economy. Partly because delivery companies are now having to change the days that they're delivering, or they're reducing the days, making it less frequent. They can't make the volume of deliveries in a day.
We at the Winchester used to have Coca-Cola.
You don't work at the Winchester, do you?
Did I not mention it?
You should talk about that.
I should do. Shouldn't I? I should drop that in every now and again.
Be great advertising.
But Coca-Cola, who have a huge factory up the road, used to deliver 4 or 5 times a week, which for a business that goes through as much Coca-Cola products as we do, it was great. Twice a week now. And it's massive. We haven't got space to put empty bottles because you have to recycle. So you have to put all your empty bottles in case. They come and take your empties and refill it. But there's no room for it because we don't get the regular deliveries anymore. And that's partly because...
Well, I'll be honest. I mean, both of us, Steve, spent a lot of time over the other side of a decade. Jen lives, obviously, this side.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I time my day accordingly.
Absolutely.
You have to.
Yeah.
And if you take John, who's our sales manager, he will group appointments to one day or 2 days. So because otherwise you are just literally, and we see posts about it all the time, don't we? Now, you know, there isn't a short-term fix. This is the problem. I mean, bus companies, obviously coach companies are complaining or saying they are struggling, not just to get up the motorway to be able to get people to the airport on time for their flights. It's the fact, I mean, you know, we've been talking in the past about being reps and doing transfers. You're picking up from maybe 10 hotels. You can't get around town. That's the problem. You can't just get around town. All the ancillary roads are blocked as well.
These pickup times, I mean, speaking for TUI, these pickup times are posted in reception about 2 days before the transfer is due. People see that as absolute gospel. So if it's 10:20, I can guarantee you, TUI reps, you'll know what I'm talking about. At 10:22, if that coach is not there, somebody will be stood in front of you going, "Where's the coach?"
Well, let's look at it from a different aspect. I used to own an excursion, which relied on coaches to take people there. Sound and Musicals, people might have been to Sound and Musical Showtime. And I wouldn't like to be in that position now, having to put pickup times of, you know, 6:30, 7 o'clock, 7:45 at night to get to the venue, because it's just so unpredictable.
Yeah, I avoid I avoid going through Leicester Ferris a lot because this is, I mean, I feel like it's got better quite a bit in the last sort of year or so.
Oh yeah, since they've done this junction, the flow has improved massively.
In this area,
obviously the big area now is heading towards Los Cristianos, coming up the hill. And I know obviously if accidents happen, there's a problem. It's 2 lanes, so it goes down to 1, sometimes none. With an extra lane, it would make a big difference. But just the volume of traffic causes traffic jams, and this is the problem. And people are experiencing it when they come here on holiday.
And there are complaints about, you know, how many, when you look at it, one of the feedback that I've had in the past is when you're in a car, look around at the other cars, how many people are in cars? It's usually one occupant. So it's not even like, if you put a 3rd lane in, could you make that a carpool lane so that you have these car lanes have to have more than one person?
These are all the arguments in favour of park and ride, in favour of the train, and also hotels now who are offering bus services for staff. They actually have their own coaches that are picking up staff in them and dropping them off in the evening, so that there's less cars on the road accordingly. And I think, you know, obviously it's going to take more than that, though. The problem is that the island has grown quicker than the infrastructure. They haven't planned for it, and the per head ownership of cars on the island is one of the highest in the whole of Spain.
Is it really?
Yeah, so it's a real problem, and
I think it's 1.8 vehicles per person.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. It's not 2 per person, but
of people who are eligible to drive, not of the whole population, but of people who are eligible to drive.
But also, one thing I did notice before we were talking about coming out of COVID was obviously rent-a-car companies during COVID couldn't have rent cars on the roads, which is another thing that we were thinking, this is really nice, there's less cars on the road. That I noticed after COVID and coming back when travel was back and people were returning, car loaders, those 2-story car loaders, loaded up with more and more rent-a-cars. And I don't know whether there's an increase in rent-a-car numbers compared to pre-COVID time, but to me it appears like there are more rent-a-cars on the road now than ever.
But I think more people rent cars than they used to.
Yeah, could
definitely.
be. Yeah.
I think it's definitely far more accessible than it used to be.
Yeah.
So there's more companies now, let's be honest, who are doing everything included without big deposits on credit cards, and ages are lower and everything else. So I think that's definitely
gone are the old days where you used to have one of those little orange metal. Do you remember them? In the Spanish used to have this. We're going back to the 1980s when we were in Spain. It was like a cast iron cabriolet, but it was made of orange metal, looked like corrugated sheeting. And whenever we were in somewhere like Torrevieja, the only thing you could
like
rent
a mini moke.
It looked something like it. But yeah, the quality of the vehicles is so much nicer now, and the choice of vehicles is so much nicer. Everything from the little Fiat 500 all the way through to like.
Yeah, I mean, I know I talk about when I first came here, but it was if you had a car, it was like wow. You got a car. It didn't matter what you drove. None of the cars were new. God, blimey, I used to have a Renault 4 Jeep. Now, a Renault 4 is pre-Renault 5. It's a proper old thing. And this thing had rollover bars, and it had Fred Flintstone decoration. Fred Flintstone decals, is that the right word? Decals, that's the word, on it. And it was brilliant. I actually picked Chubby Brown up in that one night.
There's a story. Chubby Brown and the Flintstones decals on a Jeep.
No, seriously. No, you didn't have to do that bit. It drove.
But there's an image
But it was
for you.
white
Yeah.
with big. It was white with big multicoloured bucket seats.
Did you
and rollover bar.
Did you pick up Chubby Brown and just go yabba dabba doo?
It was only a two-seater.
Oh, amazing!
So my mate had to go in the back. It was brilliant. But anyway, so yeah.
Google Maps has made it like for me personally. Before I wouldn't have like rented a car in one place that I didn't know. But I feel pretty confident I could find anywhere with Google Maps.
Yeah, true.
Now,
so it's the newfangled stuff. I saw this joke the other day. I must tell you, it's hilarious. I got into one of these newfangled cars with the gadgets and all the rest of it. Put it in reverse, and it showed me a video of someone being run over.
Oh dear.
Shall we move on?
Yeah. The next one, the last one I wanted to talk about is actually quite a feel-good story in a way.
I love a bit of feel-good. I'm a big fan of feel-good news.
Well, it is about burglary.
Yeah.
But two guys actually got caught at the airport. They got detained at Tenerife South Airport.
That's good.
Trying to leave the island, the police obviously identified some of the stuff in their bags when they went through security. They got them in the departure lounge, and they had suitcases full of jewellery, cash, belongings that they'd actually burgled so many apartments across the south of the island, and they got caught trying to escape from the island and got detained and are currently in custody awaiting trial.
Good. What? Good work from the police there. They're not from around here then, if they were escaping.
Do you know it actually didn't give what nationality they are. It didn't say, but if they're obviously in. Normally, if you're going somewhere within Spain, you go from the north airport, and this was at the south, so one would have to assume that they were from a different country.
Somewhere else, yeah.
So, as far as news stories at the moment, that's about me.
Okay,
done.
Fantastic. I think we should have a look at now what's on this week in Tenerife. Something obviously big we mentioned last week was carnival.
Carnival, yes.
We're coming towards the end of it.
It's in full swing.
I haven't been this year. I didn't go to the scary fun fair. Did you go? Did the gaffer tape fun fair that we talked about?
Stop, because I'm going tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Oh dear.
With my 7 and 4-year-old, it'll be fun. No, so I haven't done really anything that carnival-y yet, but this weekend.
Carnival-y.
Carnival-y. That's a new word. Yeah. It's going in the dictionary next year.
If it's not in there yet, it will be by the end of the pod. Yes, I'm going to fun fair tomorrow. I don't know if I should dress up or not. And do you know, I went to the Santa Cruz one, I think last year, and I felt like an idiot because I wasn't dressed up.
Oh,
like, people go
okay.
for it,
Yeah,
don't
no, they do.
I think you should go as a plumber.
Or an electrician.
Tomato.
Either way, you're going to fit a boiler, isn't it?
I try and get a bit of cash in hand work on the way around. Anyone need any handyman work?
But are you worried? Because Santa Cruz is obviously massive and everybody goes, like you said, goes for it. Are you worried they won't be going for it quite as madly as Los Cristianos? And you'll turn up and go, no one else is dressed up.
I actually have a lot of respect for the Canarians and the locals.
They love it.
They just don't care. Like, there'll be family, they will have gone like for a full-on theme. And it's, like I say, it's almost like you feel like the plonker if you're not dressed up. But I don't really have anything, so...
One of the things I love about obviously the locals here, is any excuse to dress up
100%.
is embraced by everyone. It's not just, and as you say, if you're the one not dressed up, then you feel
apart from,
left out.
Which was something that was last week, World Book Day. They don't, at schools anyway, I don't know. I know they've just had carnival, so I'm thinking that's why.
What I meant was carnival-wise. I didn't mean that.
But anything dressed up, like Halloween, they love it, like anything dressed up.
But you would think...
World Book Day is a world event. However, it only seems to be families in the last 5 or 6 years, but families in the UK like taking a picture of your son or daughter in front of the front door on the first day of school.
Did you used to dress up for World Book Day when you were at school?
No, it's actually something I had talked about on the radio, but I didn't. It's something fairly new, but I would have thought that here they would jump on it because, like you say, they love dressing up. I don't want it. It's another job that I could do without, especially so close to carnival.
Exactly, but I think it's more, the dressing up is more about dressing up for our the Canary stuff, because the Canaries Day, every year before Canaries Day, there are mums and dads on Facebook going, I desperately need it, and you have to. There's a proper waistcoat and a hat and everything else to wear. I need a kids' Canaries Day. Well. Yeah, not cheap.
Even if you go to like a Chinese shop to get it, it's still like. Still expensive.
Anyway,
I bought a big one. So that's carnival, obviously.
It's the parade on Sunday.
The parade on Sunday. That's the big.
What time's that on? Is it about 4 o'clock? Isn't it?
From 4.
And if you've never been, it's
worth a go.
It's
we're going to go and
especially
enjoy
if you've got kids.
Yeah.
Because it's the one you can take kids to where they're going to be all right with, and they'll love it.
Yeah, and it's not a late night, is it? It's not, it's a nice thing to do of an afternoon.
Can I ask a question though? And this is, and anybody who lives here will know this. And this has always puzzled me. Why do they have German officers, like, I'm going to say the word Nazis, in the parade? I've never been able to work it out.
I don't know if I've ever seen that. Every year they do this.
Yeah, I mean, you've always got a Michael Jackson, and you've always got a Mad Mario, like Mario Kart and all the rest. But we've got Martin here doing our sound. I'm right, aren't I? They've always got German Nazi.
Is it an easy costume to make or get hold of, perhaps? Is that what it is?
Ease
of costume making.
It's always kind of the same person, and he's quite revered. It's like, but anyway, I just thought I'd ask.
Maybe he's...
Yeah, medals and everything.
Well, perhaps he's not dressing up. Perhaps he is a former SS officer, and that's what he's got in the back of his wardrobe. I mean, there's plenty of... the Canaries was quite popular with German tourists in the 1940s and 50s after the Second World War, so I don't know, maybe it's...
Anyway.
Maybe it's not a costume, that's what I'm saying.
If anybody knows or anybody has a suggestion.
Thanks for moving that along.
Right, so there is something for the sophisticated, for the cultural.
The culture vultures.
The culture vultures, the opera. Romeo and Juliet from the Opera de Tenerife is on the 15th, the 17th, the 19th and 20th.
Romeo. Is that what it's going to be?
I'm going to say I hope not. Yeah.
I mean, like, how do you do Romeo and Juliet, the opera?
I'll go and see it and find out.
I might do. When's it on, Jen?
So, right, I just said 15th, 17th, 19th and 21st.
I think I'll go on 17th. There's nothing on 17th, is there?
It's a really quiet day in Tenerife.
Yeah, nothing happening on the 17th at all.
Actually, no, hang on a minute. I've got a guest in. I might have something to talk about.
That, yeah. Who's in, Jen? What's happening?
So we have, obviously, on the 17th, St Patrick's Day, so we wanted an Irish guest to come in, and we thought, who better than Fergal Flaherty?
Yeah, he's in the green room at the moment, so...
quite aptly named the green room.
Yeah, absolutely, especially today. So he's going to pop into the studio. So
let's welcome him in.
Let's have him into the studio.
Very popular on the Tenerife entertainment scene, has a huge following, has been part of the Tees. He's a performer. He's a bar owner. He is known by many as an absolute legend.
Let's have your stinger.
We have Fergal Flaherty.
How are you
Hello,
doing?
Fergal.
I'm great.
Oh,
How are you?
Look at you in the bright green today.
Well,
Can we get the camera on
since the week of Tenet,
Look at you.
Thank you very much.
Stunning. Welcome. So I know perhaps want to find a bit about you, but we'll get into that very soon. I think what is most important to talk about today on the sort of lead up to one of the biggest days in the Tenerife calendar, in my opinion, Why is St Patrick's Day so big in Tenerife, do you think?
I think because it's a mixture of two things. From the very beginning, when there was only a few Irish bars, when we came over here first, you had O'Casey's in Veronica's, the Murphy family.
Oh, yeah.
You had ourselves. Well, I was in the Irish Welcome at the time.
And where was that?
That was down in Los Cristianos,
Okay.
where Dreamers is.
Ah, yeah.
Beside there.
Yeah.
And then I got involved in the Hole in the Wall, which was next door to Dreamers. But there was the Claddagh Irish Bar and the Dubliner Murphy's. That was it.
Yep.
There was no other. So he had Falcha as well, which was a group of people, of Irish people on the island, who got together on St Patrick's Day, and we organised our own parades.
Yeah, we had Dee Daniels in on the previous pod, Tenerife Entertainment Uncovered, because we spoke about that at length.
Yeah.
Because as Oasis, we got involved in that, I think, on the second one.
Yeah.
To do with
That's
Falcha,
right. Yeah.
with the big events at obviously
Exit Palace.
Well, not Exit Palace, also Pleasure Island.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then we did one in the Cultural Centre in Los Cristianos.
One in the Sky Park as well.
Sky
That's
Park
right,
one
Sky
was
Park.
one.
But that's all very
Yeah.
well. I mean, that doesn't explain. I mean, obviously we know St Patrick's Day has grown from just a few bars and through big
Yeah.
events. But why is it so popular here? Because it seems that Tenerife and maybe in Boston, New York.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you're Irish and you're away from home, you're more patriotic.
Okay.
And you do that little bit extra because you miss home and you miss your family and you miss, the usual stuff at home. So you just the Irish get together, or even if somebody passes away or somebody's sick, the Irish seem to be.
Are you trying to say it's any excuse for a party?
Of course. But we always get together and we're one big family.
It's so big though that I feel like even some Irish people will leave Ireland to come here
Yes,
to
they do,
celebrate. Yeah.
I think leave the sunshine. It's a big thing,
Okay.
because the weather at home recently hasn't been really good, So a lot of people just say, you know what, I believe Tenerife's great for St Patrick's Day, and every year for the last I don't know how many years, when we stopped doing the concerts that we did for St Patrick's Day,
The big ones, yeah.
because it was the new Irish bars were opened, and Greg was in partnership with me. He said, why don't we just do it in our own place and make ourselves money instead of putting it in a big pot. So we did. We just decided we'll do it ourselves, but now you have to sell the tickets. We're booked out for 2027 now. We're fully booked for St Patrick's Day 2027.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, people are they love the atmosphere. We can control it because we have our own. We know our customers, and we want to make sure our customers are looked after on St Patrick's Day. So that's why we put ticket only. So all our regulars know. So it gives them a chance to get their tickets, their seats.
Do you think in some ways though, the fact that it's kind of been diluted into the bars, I understand 100% why,
Yeah.
but the fact that it has been diluted into the bars, because let's be honest, there's a few Irish bars that aren't necessarily that Irish.
No.
And there's a lot of entertainers who are performing on St Patrick's Day who aren't Irish.
Yeah.
Do you think sometimes it's a bit of a shame that you haven't got that big event, that big central
Yes,
event?
yeah. I think
as a showcase?
it'd be lovely to have. It would be, and there's great artists on the island that you'd be able to pull it off. There's some really good lads, some really good.
Because back in the day, and obviously the Irish dancers were brought over, and some of them were world champion dancers.
Yeah.
They were phenomenal. Different bands, different things, and most of it ran in the daytime, so that people then went to the bars
At night time.
later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that's something that's missing?
I think so. I think it'd be great. It would be, again, it's getting
Not
the
not
location.
not to take anything away from the bars, of course, because I understand that this whole week, let's be honest, with Cheltenham,
Yeah.
then the Six Nations, and then St Patrick's Day is a massive
Yeah,
week, isn't it?
It is. It's a huge week. Yeah, yeah, and it's great for the bars. It is good for the bars, but yeah, do you know what? It would be, even if it's not on St Patrick's Day, even if it's the day before St Patrick's Day, or as they do in Australia, in Sydney, to have the Irish community over there. They have St Patrick's celebration, but they have it 2 days beforehand.
Okay.
So they can bring in singers and dancers and different important people for this.
Yeah, the only reason I say it is from a resident's point of view. Very often it's like, well, where shall I go? Yeah. Back in the day, it was easy just to go, right, that's where St Patrick's Day, a bit like the Tees. Yeah. You know, I mean, I think the Tenerife Entertainment Awards has benefited because of that. Yeah. Because that day where everyone used to meet was kind of fizzled out a little bit, so the Tees have become that. But particularly if you've got children. I mean, I don't want to take my kids to the Gaelic Corner or the Dubliner because it's just too busy. Nothing against those bars, they're phenomenal, but it's just too crazy. Yeah. Whereas if, you know, I knew there was
an open air concert or an open air festival, you would
with more space, with, you know, activities for them as well and whatever.
It would be fantastic to have, but I think
so. Maybe on St Patrick's Day Eve, St Patrick's Day warm up.
I think so, because a lot of the bars will say, you know, St Patrick's Day is our biggest day of the year. We're not. I can't let my artist go. I need him to entertain, or I need my staff. So maybe I think if you did it a day or 2 days beforehand, and say, right, we're going to do this concert.
So what have you got planned for Tuesday then? In the hole in the wall? Can we have to talk about the hole in the wall and the Claddagh, don't we?
Yeah. So you own Hole in the Wall, like you just said, and the Claddagh.
And the Claddagh,
is that right?
Yes. Yeah. The Hole in the Wall. Well, Dee Daniels, we have her in every year.
It's not St Patrick's Day without Dee.
No.
Queen of Green.
Yeah.
Queen of Green.
She's, you know what? She's fantastic. She's just a tonic, you know, to be around. Even in our regulars, our customers, you know, they love her to bits, you know. And she has this energy about her. It just sucks people in. And she's brilliant. But Dee's there. Myself. There's a new guy on the island. He's here a year now nearly. It's Carl Quinelvin from Dublin. Fantastic artist, you know. And then the two girls, Caroline.
The girls who were at the Tees. Yeah. With the harp and the
Caroline and Sharon have started working with me now.
They're fantastic.
They're amazing girls.
Fantastic.
And so talented.
Because you also do some lives with Sharon as well, don't you?
Yeah, myself and Sharon meet up every so often.
Sharon's on the fiddle.
Yeah, she does a gig.
When I say she's on the fiddle, I mean the violin.
We're all on the fiddle.
This is live. We need to be careful. Let's tell her everyone's personal business.
They're two darlings, you know. The two girls are fantastic, you know. And she has a couple of gigs in the evening time, 7 or 8 o'clock. So I'm off on a Wednesday, so she comes in on a Wednesday to the Claddagh, and we do an afternoon where I record for just acoustic for Facebook. And
well, talking about the Claddagh, because we've had you on Oasis before, you've been in about the Tenerife Entertainment Awards before, which we'll come on to, but the Claddagh a relatively new thing for you.
Yeah, when we have the Hole in the Wall and the Soul Suite, as you know, but we have a lease on them, and during the pandemic, because of you couldn't open
things,
you know, and you still had to pay your rent, still had to pay your social security and all that. To be honest, it nearly wiped us out. We were 3 weeks away from handing keys back to two bars.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was horrendous. Yeah, we even had our house up for sale. That's how bad it was, you know.
Jeez.
So,
and you know what? I bet people don't realise that.
No.
I bet people look at you and think, oh, 2 bars, 3 bars, been a musician for. The automatic assumption is that everything's good, you know. But you were literally that close.
We were literally
because I'm not being funny, and Jen knows this. I was close here to doing the same.
Yeah,
very, very.
A lot
close.
of bars and restaurants were, and I was out doing, because we were closed, because we're 100% tourists where we are. But I went down to my good friend Liam Hession in Fiddler and Temple
Bar, yeah.
So Liam said, well, join me on a Thursday night, he said, and it just kept me on the live thing, you know, because they had a lot of residents around, so they could open. And I came home on Thursday night after the gig, and Dee was sitting on the sofa with all the books laid out on the sofa, and she was crying her eyes out. I said, what's wrong? She said, we have 3 weeks left.
By the way, this is Dee, your wife, not
my wife,
Dee Daniels.
You know. She said, we have 3 weeks left of our money, and that's it.
Wow.
And I said to her, look, I can always sing, I can play.
Yep.
We'll never starve, so don't worry about it. And all I said was, just open the bars, get them open, and we'll be fine. And if we chip away. So I met the both owners of the bars, and I asked them for a little bit of leeway.
Yeah, of course.
And both of them were great.
Brilliant.
So
incidentally, by the way, just not to put a dampener on it, but today is Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Which is 6 years today since we went
I
to
know.
the newspaper. On Sunday, it's 6 years since we went into lockdown.
Wow.
Does it feel that long for you?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't feel that long, no.
Has it felt that long recovering? Yes!
Possibly.
Well, so tell us about the Claddagh, though.
The reason why we went for the Claddagh, because I just said when we did a full year then, and we had from July to July, it was a July 21, I think it was, to July 22, we paid off all our debt in that year.
Wow, that's pretty good going.
So
to do that in a year.
We chipped away in that year to pay all our debt off. So we did, and then we, I said today when we got our feet on the ground, when we get a few quid behind us, we need to buy a freehold.
Yeah.
Because anything can happen again. You know, you've got this happening now in the Middle East or whatever. You don't know what's going to happen. At least if we have a freehold, you know, we have something we can if we have to just hand,
asset,
you know. So we were just out for a meal one night and bumped into Eddie Walsh. He owned the Claddagh, and he just said to me that he's looking to sell it. He's 82 or 83 years of age. He said, I need to sell it. So I just said, oh, okay. I said, I know somebody might be interested. He said, oh, do you? I said, yeah, I'll phone you tomorrow. So I rang him the next day and I said, can you meet for a coffee? So he came up to the house and I just said, look, I'm interested if the price is right. So
brilliant.
That was it.
And how's it going now? Because obviously
it's really slow.
Saoirse's down there.
Yeah, Saoirse's there. It was a slow start, and I said to Saoirse when she started, I said, don't get disheartened because it's a new business. It'll take time, at least a year, 2 years before. So we opened in April last year, and it wasn't until the end of September that it started to, pick up.
And what are you doing down there for St Patrick's Day this year?
Well, Saoirse has 2 friends over from Ireland, 2 lads. Caroline is over as well, Caroline Stapleton. Saoirse is there as well, and just everybody's going to muck in and do
Is there a St Patrick's Day moment in Tenerife that stands out for you? And have you had St Patrick's Day? When was the last time you had St Patrick's Day in Ireland?
Oh, I think 1992 is the last time I had St Patrick's Day in Ireland. Or 90,
is it good over there?
It's great because you have it's more of a family thing than here, you know.
Yeah.
You got the parades on the street, and different companies and different organisations, your football clubs and your local Irish dancers will be, involved so it's a big thing back home,
So come on then, what's your standout moments of St Patrick's Day in Tenerife? The one moment that stands out that you went, oh, that was good.
Yeah, I was doing the gig in the one that you covered.
What, Sky Park, Exit Palace?
No. Sorry, I've got a blank now. Beside Lineker's.
Oh, yeah. In, well, it's what is now the Garrison. Used to be Murphy's.
Yeah. No, it was... oh, Lord. The big place.
Yates's.
Wigan Pier.
No, the Pleasure Island.
Oh, Pleasure Island, yeah, okay.
Sorry, Pleasure Island, couldn't get it. It's changed names that many times.
Vivo, Pleasure Island.
Known as Vivo now.
Yeah.
Well, just for those people watching, Pleasure Island used to be the main location,
yeah,
didn't it?
It was massive.
After the sort of, it was the main location for St Patrick's Day. So,
yeah,
tell us about that then.
And all the different artists were, and they brought artists over from Ireland as well, and it was packed. I think there was about 2,000 people in it. It was absolutely hammered. I've never seen that. And I stood on stage going, oh my God, it's like, and somebody asked me to sing Danny Boy before I went up. So I went up and I sang Danny Boy, and everybody in the audience sang it with me. And it was like one of those, hair-raising moments. And it's just something I never forget, It was amazing. The atmosphere was great,
It's great to hear that it wasn't actually it was an external thing.
Yeah, I just want to know, like, as somebody that has 2 Irish bars, because obviously every night there is sort of like local music and stuff, and like you say, you've got Saoirse down at the Claddagh. What's different about St Patrick's Day to a normal day for the hole in the wall of the Claddagh, for example?
Yeah, well, it starts at...
Just starts earlier. The party's longer.
10 o'clock in the morning, we're packed, they're in for breakfast and they stay all day.
Really?
And music starts at 12 o'clock, so, and then I do an hour, and then Dee comes in, does an hour, Carl is doing an hour, so we've different people coming in. And then last year, Daniel O'Donnell turned up, on St Patrick's Day. And
it's to be fair, he's been a regular at the Hole in the Wall over
the years, he's a great guy. He's just amazing. amazing guy. To be the star that he is, and be as humble as he is, to walk into an Irish bar and just get up and enjoy it. And
we can't mention the hole in the wall for those people who don't know without mentioning
Cammy.
Chris Kamara, who was obviously a partner with you.
Yeah, it's same. I mean, Chris and Daniel are kind of cut from the same cloth. Both of them are just, what you see is what you get, you know. And Cammy's, you know, if you meet Cammy in the street, he's the same as you see him on the TV. He's just bubbly. He's a gentleman, absolute gentleman.
Well,
you know, he's time for everybody.
To obviously spend a lot of time with him doing different events over here.
Yeah.
Golf tournaments, Soccer Saturday, and all this sort of thing. Can I tell you my hole in the wall highlight?
Yeah.
I have a standout moment, and it was. You'll be able to say when it was. I think it was about 10 years ago now. And Cammy was over. We did a Soccer Saturday gig, which is when we used to do a golf tournament raising money for Marie Curie, and he used to bring over his inverted commas mates from Sky Sports. So you had Paul Merson, Phil Thompson, Charlie Nicholas over the years, loads of Jeff Stelling, all the rest of it. And this one particular, you wouldn't believe this, Jen. Honestly, it was amazing. And we just dropped the guys off at the airport. I'm literally in shorts and a t-shirt. It'd been a long 3 or 4 days because it was an intense few days.
A lot of organisation in it.
Cameron would always be singing at the hole in the wall as well. And he was like, "Look, come on, let's go for a pint. Let's go to the hole in the wall, have a pint. Daniel's there. He's going to sing. I'm going to do a few things." And whenever Cammy goes into the hole in the wall, he just gets mobbed, doesn't he? And I think he's here.
And
he's here at the moment.
Yeah, yes, he is. Yeah, and how he handles himself is phenomenal.
Incredible, absolutely amazing. And Daniel was singing. You were obviously there, and Cammy was having autographs and photos and different things. And the next thing, Daniel O'Donnell says, "Oh, by the way, I've got a friend here," and brought Cliff Richard in.
Yeah.
Who'd been stood outside by a palm tree, you know, on the grass pit.
Yeah.
Nobody even realised he was there.
Yeah.
And it was the most surreal thing I've ever seen in my...
That's so bizarre.
He slipped in the bar and just tucked in beside the till, just stood there. And
nobody recognised him, did they?
Why not? Like, why? You would think that he would be...
No, when he was off stage. When he was off stage, nobody recognised him. And then he introduced him. And if I remember rightly, they said, "Look, don't take any photos or stuff. He'll stay afterwards and have..." And when was that? Was it 2012, maybe?
Yeah, I have the picture on my phone.
That must be one of the surreal moments for you as well, isn't it?
I was like...
What was he like?
Well, Daniel came up on the stage to sing a few songs, and I'm looking down. He never said anything to me, and I'm looking down by the till, and my wife was there. And I'm going...
Who's that old bloke?
That looks like... Because we played the golf that day. Right, we played the golf that day.
Oh, so you knew he was here?
No, Daniel
never said anything.
Daniel played in the golf.
Ah, right.
And he said to me, "Listen, I don't mean to rude, but I've got visitors and I need to go." He never said who it was. And I go, "Yeah," I said, "Look, no problem, walk away, you know."
It's only Cliff Richard.
Said, "No, I don't mean rude, you know." And then that night he walked in, and I saw Daniel Somagella, but I didn't recognise Cliff, you know. I didn't know he was.
Nobody did, because everyone was either looking at Daniel on the stage or Cammy over here.
I don't think you'd believe it either. If you saw someone, you'd be like, "He looks a spit."
Yeah, but the best bit is, Jenny, he then walked on stage and sort of went, "Hi guys," and it was like,
but what
do you like that, do you?
I did. Yeah, it was really
but it was surreal, wasn't it?
It was. He stood in the corner, and then Daniel was up singing, but Cliff had a hit with singing the blues. I have more legs, but Daniel had recorded that as well.
Right.
So I had all Daniel's backing tracks. So we went into singing the blues. So Daniel was singing, and he went like this with the microphone to Cliff.
Yeah.
And he was like a whippet. Where he went.
Do you need any more enticing?
Yeah.
6 foot away from the stage, he jumped and just leaped, grabbed the microphone off Daniel, and midair turned around. And 76 years of age at the time.
Yeah.
True showman.
And I'm going, what? I can't curse this. So, and then he took over, he took my guitar, and he sang 5 songs acoustically.
Amazing.
And he was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Well, I must admit, I just had a long few days with all the football guys.
Yeah.
Came to your place, and there's Cliff Richard, and it was like, I think I'm in a weird dream.
I feel like things like that don't happen anymore. Like with the pod, like the
Social
events,
media,
there were so many
Yeah.
things that seem to used to happen. I don't think anything that wacky's I've ever sort of noticed.
Well,
or
for somebody
been
like
part
that
of.
to have two of the biggest stars in the world. I don't care what anybody says. Daniel is one of the biggest selling Irish artists of all time.
Yeah.
You know, and Cliff Richard obviously is,
and he's become a good friend now, isn't he?
Oh yeah, the two of them are really good friends. Yeah.
Now listen, last time I sat down and had a chat with you was in your house.
Yes.
I came up to the house, and this was before the Tees, Jen.
Yeah.
This was when I asked Fergal if he'd host the Hall of Fame with you on stage. And I went up to Fergal's house, and it was great. Yeah, the grandkids were there running, or granddaughter was there running around. Yeah. You'd just come back from Ireland and been presented an award, the Star Trophy, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Your son was there having a suit fitting for I think it was Sean, wasn't it, for the wedding? Connor, for the wedding. And Tracy turned up because she were...
That's right.
How did the wedding go?
Fantastic. Phenomenal. Yeah.
All went well.
Super. Yeah.
Good. And then obviously we saw you on stage hosting the Hall of Fame at the Tees.
Yeah. Which was an honour.
With Jenny. Tell us about that.
Well, I mean, you contacted me and said, "Will you do this?"
And you performed on the day.
Yeah, I performed with the girls, with Caroline and Sharon. You know, which is lovely. It was great, lovely atmosphere. But I think just because it was Dee was getting an award with the Hall of Fame, and Billy McCracken, obviously, you know, Billy's a legend, absolute legend. But you know, I suppose my connection with both of them was probably perfect. I was just honoured to do it. It was great, you know.
Well, I think also as well because we've spoken about the awards, and you know you've obviously been a supporter since day one.
Yeah.
This year is actually the 20th year.
Wow.
And the first ones were actually at Pleasure Island.
That's right. Yeah.
And you know, I don't think you used the words, but you kind of intimated that you feel as though you're more of an elder statesman of the entertainment scene here now, and trying to encourage younger talent.
Ones. Yeah. I mean, I took my name out of the hat, I suppose, or took my name off it. The only reason, it was no disrespect to anybody, but there's a lot of good young artists out there. I have a good following, you know, so it wouldn't be fair on me entering every year if I have the following and ask my following to vote for me, you know. But I just feel. I
think it's more the fact that you want to champion younger talent is a credit to you.
There's a lot of good young kids on the island now, and the talent is amazing, you know.
Anyone that stands out in your mind at the moment that you would say, you need to go and see them, or?
Well, Saoirse was someone.
Saoirse is fantastic.
I feel like she's part of the furniture now, though. She's kind of cemented herself as an hero.
She has learned so quick. She's picked it up really, really quick, you know, and she's put her, you know, she's done her homework, you know. And I
have a claim to fame with Saoirse.
You have a claim to fame.
What?
Well, if you remember, I think it was 2022 that she first got nominated for the Tees and perform live.
Yeah.
And she always used to sit down and perform.
That's right. Yeah.
And she said to me, "Can I sit down and perform?" And I went, to be honest, you'd be much better off standing up.
Yeah.
On that stage at the Tees, because it's a big stage, big audience. And so we tried it at the sound check, and that was the first time that she actually ever stood up performing. And she said to me since that now she feels weird if she sits down.
Yeah, it's a different thing. I remember I was playing football with Cammy. It's come back probably 10 or 12 years ago. And I was in goals, and I dislocated this finger, you know, and it just popped out. It dislocated from here. And I had the gloves on, and I knew something was wrong. And it was one of the lads that standing on the goalpost said, something happened to your finger. And I said, "No, I feel it." Now, it wasn't sore, but it just got numb. So I went into the dressing room and I took the glove off, and this half of my finger just fell.
Ooh!
Right, so Cammy was there. Cammy says to me, "Give me your keys to your car." He said, "Come on, I'll take you to the hospital." So I went up to the hospital, and I stand like this, and I walked in reception. The girl goes, "Can I help you?" And I said, "I put my hand in this," and she goes, "Oh my God." So they took me and got x-rays, and they popped them back in.
Not great for a guitar player, having it at that angle.
But the thing was, I had to go. Dee said to me, "We'll have to get somebody to cover you tonight." I said, "No, I'm not. Just because my fingers." I said, "I have to go down and do the gig." So I got a keyboard. I got to play a keyboard as well, and I sat down behind the keyboard and I said, "I can't do this. I can't sit down."
Well, I must admit, we struggled actually to find a picture of you without a guitar or a golf club.
Well, it's hard. The guitar is I don't know what it is. It's like a safe.
Comfort.
It's a comfort or safe. I'm very shy. I started off as a drummer, and the only reason I wanted to be involved in music, but the drumming was in the background.
Right.
And I did 3 years in the College of Music in Dublin doing percussion, and I played in bands. And it wasn't until one of the bands split up that I said, okay, I'll come forward a little bit now, And that's how I started, And I remember my first gig, I was 18 years of age. My father dropped me off to the gig and I was setting up. It took me ages to turn around and face people.
Tell us, obviously that's all changed now. Tell us about some of the places you're going to now to perform, because you do actually spend a lot of time off the island performing in different places.
Yeah, I have it, with the following, Facebook was phenomenal. I know we talked about the COVID and, the hard times we've had, but the good that came out of COVID with Facebook and meeting so many people and what my Facebook has grown so big from that, But it's just opened things up for me, and I do Scotland every year, I do 4 dates in Scotland, which I sell out every year. I had an email this morning while I actually went downstairs for a coffee, got an email from the Mary from the Dunlow Festival in Donegal, asked me to perform at their opening concert this year, so with Daniel. So, it's stuff like that. It's
there's more opportunities.
Yeah, I did a festival last year in a country music festival in Ireland, and the guy says to me, I want to headline you. I said, no, but sure, I'm not, He says, you are. He said, the amount of people come in here, he said, have you ever got Fergal Flaherty? So,
wow.
And I'm going,
How cool is that?
turned up
really
on the night
cool.
and it was packed.
Wow.
And all regulars from the hole in the wall. People flew over from England to see us.
Wow.
Which is, so.
The fact, though, that you don't realise.
I don't.
I mean, I think that's why perhaps you are so successful and have such a good following, because you're very humble about it and perhaps don't even realise that the following that you have.
Well, I just love what I do. I just happy to be able to get up and sing a song, and it's if
what
the rest.
What would you want to be or do if it hadn't have been music?
Pilot.
Really?
Yeah.
I expected you to say professional golfer.
Well, yeah. I suppose golf is definitely. But as a very young lad, before I actually played golf, I wanted to be a pilot, yeah. And even we were in Gatwick Airport.
I can actually imagine you as a pilot. Can
yeah,
you, Jen?
I can imagine him coming over the tannoy. Like I'd feel very at ease if your voice came over.
Yeah?
I'd be like, yeah, we're getting there safe. Like I've got no issues. Like, if there's a bit of turbulence, he's got it. That's how I'd feel if you were the pilot.
She doesn't see me driving a car.
I've seen you drive a golf ball, and I have to say that is.
Well,
an experience.
Well, no. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what it is, and you'll agree with this. Obviously we've done the tournament, the hole in the wall tournament for many years, and we've, as a company, we've always been involved and supported you on that. Yeah. And that's now obviously become the Greg's memorial after he passed away. But you actually took drives for teams off on what is now the fourth hole outside.
Yeah, I was. It was great because. Organising the tournament, you have to be hands-on, and I just felt if I'm playing as well as trying to organise it, it's hard to do both, But it also means that you can fill all the spaces up. So
raise more money.
That's it. So I was just thinking about things, you kind of.
Is this because I don't know about golf? Is this where they can donate more and you take a shot for them?
Yeah, because it's a Texas scramble, you see.
Because I don't understand golf.
And also, Cammy was on the hole as well.
Yeah.
So
I remember being on the phone in the studio.
Yeah, exactly, to
Steve.
Steve was there with us, but basically on that hole right outside the clubhouse, which used to be the first, and it's now the fourth, isn't it?
Yeah.
At Amateur Golf. Then Fergal and Cammy were both there.
Yeah.
Which is great because everyone gets to get a photo and thank you and everything else. But you took a drive for them, didn't you?
Well, I give them an option that they can use the drive that I took, and if
we did,
of course.
So if you take the drive, it'll cost you. It'll cost you €10 your charge. But guys were putting €50.
Yeah.
One team put €200 in.
Wow.
And we raised, I think, on the drives, I think it was €1,100 just for that. which was great. But the fun we had with some of the lads, and was 1 or 2 shots that I took went out of bounds. So they had already paid the money.
Sorry.
One thing I need to ask, because you mentioned her earlier, and obviously she's also very instrumental on the golf tournament.
Yeah.
But also behind the scenes, behind every man, as they say, Jen. Behind every man.
Do they say that?
Yep.
It's a great.
How
woman.
important is Dee to not just you, but what you do?
Well, I wouldn't be here talking to you only for, just being honest, she's a great woman. She does a lot in the background that nobody sees, obviously we're having 3 bars. There's a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of hassle, staff, customers, especially if you're organising St Patrick's Day, all the bookings, you're always going to get people who are not happy, don't get in, whatever. New Year's Eve is the same. And also my tours, organising my flights, organising...
So when you're off gallivanting, she's here holding the fort?
Well, no, she comes with me.
Well, oh, really?
Yeah, well, I mean,
cool.
if I'm doing some of the festivals, if I have to fly in and do a festival for a weekend, then she stays here, obviously,
That's what I meant. Yeah, I meant that one.
But the likes of Ireland now in Scotland, she's on tour with me.
Brilliant.
But she books the ferries, books the hotels. Yeah. She deals with the venues, the tickets, everything like that. So...
But on the golf day, she was there doing all the money, doing all the tea times, all the...
But even the build-up to the golf.
Yeah.
Even from now on, we get St Patrick's Day out of the way.
When is it this year?
It's the 21st of May in Amarillo.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I will put it in the diary.
Yeah, and next year I have folks that I met on the cruise. I was on a cruise there the last few weeks, and I met a couple from North Carolina. And they heard
just
of
quickly,
Tenerife.
let me explain. We were going to do the pod yesterday, weren't we?
Yeah.
Thursday was our day.
Yeah.
We changed it to today because you've literally just come back from New Orleans.
From New Orleans,
But you're all kind of jet lagged, aren't you?
Oh,
You're like, where am I? What time is it?
I had to do the gig last night in the...
How do you have the energy?
I don't know. It's probably the passion for what I do. I just love doing what I do. But I hit a brick wall last night. I was in the gig and I was just like, oh my God. It was the last half hour. Something just hit me, But it was, we...
But you met these people. You met this.
Yeah, so I met this couple and explained, they asked me what I did and whatever, I got talking about golf and I said, we run a tournament every year. So they heard about Tenerife and he said, next year, he said, put us down for a team, we'll come over.
What, 2027?
2027,
Brilliant.
yeah.
And is Cammy going to be here again this year for it?
Yes,
or
he is. Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
He's still a regular to the island. But he's not involved. He's not actually involved in the whole wall anymore. Is he?
No. He obviously with his health
He's had his own issues.
And then with Greg passing away,
Yep.
he just said he'd take a step back. So.
Yeah.
But he still comes in, still a great friend, and he massive support.
Fantastic.
If I need anything at all, I would just text him or ring him, no problem.
So just to wrap up, I guess.
I just have one more question, because there might be people listening that are going to be here for St Patrick's. They wonder where to go, and it's something you touched on, Chris.
Yep.
There's a lot of Irish bars now. Some
Yeah.
perhaps do it better than others. In your professional opinion, what makes an authentic Irish bar? What should people be looking for this St Patrick's Day?
Ooh.
Thanks very much.
I suppose an Irish bar is like a home. It's
That's a good answer. I like that.
it is, because when we're in New Orleans, the first thing I do when I go to any city, I find an Irish bar. It's just something about
Like
it.
a home in Pigeon.
And I walked into 4 different Irish bars in New Orleans, and I couldn't get out quick enough. It just wasn't. There was the atmosphere wasn't there. It didn't.
And what is it do you think that's missing? Like, is there sort of an element that you think this is why I don't feel like it's the right one?
It's just, well, we've created what we call as a family of friends, and you have to have that welcome when you come into an Irish bar. You have to have that. I know, look, we're not perfect, but we try to be as
Authentic
as we can, But I treat every couple that comes in, and I say to the staff as well, any couple that walks in the door, that's your mum and dad you're dealing with.
Yeah.
That's your aunt and uncle you're dealing with. You have to treat them the way you would treat your mother and father, and that's the way an Irish bar should be,
And I think people who maybe are new to coming to the Tenerife, particularly, don't realise how much repeat business there is here.
Oh,
the amount of people that come back time after time, year after year, and you obviously see that in the bar as well.
Absolutely. I mean, even with the Claddagh now, I said to my son Sean, he's running it now, he's manager, and Saoirse as well. It takes 2 years before you see any, but it's got quicker. Obviously, the hole in the wall is helping that.
Yeah.
But Saoirse has that connection. You have to have a connection with people, and she has that connection.
Yeah, she's very good.
And she has that repeat trade coming back now, and that's what it's all about. If you connect with people, and there's a lot of good young lads on the island here, and just some of them have like that, just that little bit of, hello, how you doing, where you from.
Yeah, I like that though. Just being treated like you're someone's family. You're not just a customer that's going to be a pain in the butt. Like your family. I like that.
But it's interesting because we see that as the basics. We see that as sometimes more important than the music.
Oh, absolutely.
Particularly as a resident in a bar.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not the greatest singer or musician in the world, and I see musicians.
Being humble again, Jen. He's being
very down to earth, so grounded.
I'm my own worst critic. But I see musicians passing by our window that have finished in other bars and are probably empty. And these musicians are phenomenal musicians that I know very well. And I'm sure they're looking and going, how does he do it?
Yeah.
It's packed.
Years of work. Years of work. That's what it is.
Years of work. But, if somebody walks in the door and how are you doing? Or try and remember their names, and I'd be going through, all right, A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K. And I get there, and then, okay, it's Brian, or whatever. And once they hear their names, it's like...
Yeah, because let's be honest, people like to be recognised.
Oh, yeah.
People like to be name-checked.
Yeah.
It's familiar. We're all... we all like familiarity, don't we?
Yeah.
Not to feel special, don't we? And I guess that's what you're making people feel if you walk into it. So thank you for answering that. Fergal, I loved having you in today and learning all about you and St Patrick's Day. I hope you have a great one. Don't work too hard.
It'll be great. You have to work hard for the next week, and then you can take the foot off the pedal.
Fergal, thank you so much. We'll let you go and get some rest and some sleep and catch up with your jet lag.
Thank you very much.
Right. So we have to go on to some other. It's great having Fergal in. Obviously, it's been an absolute pleasure. There is one sort of more element of the Tenerife pod that is becoming very, very important, and we have to bring.
That's the weather.
It is. It's the weather. It is, and we have to bring our resident weatherman back in. Blame it on the weatherman.
Don't blame it on me. I'm just a messenger.
I just had to get a little bit bewitched on you with the theme of the pod
Well, you've probably already noticed how dusty it is, and how if you look out towards La Gomera, you can't see it, and if you look out that way, you can't see the mountain very much. We've got a calima, which might be the reason why I'm feeling so rubbish. I don't know.
No, it's not man flu, it's calima flu.
Honestly, this violin's getting smaller by the second.
Thanks, Jen.
It's as small as a bit of calima just now.
I actually wrote an article the last couple of days about the health implications of calimas, because people don't realise it.
Interesting.
People, always criticise the singers when they moan about it. But it's actually quite interesting because not everyone realises, Steve, where they come from. So where do they come from?
So the calimas themselves are sand and dust that's picked up from the Africa and the Sahara. Yeah. So it's all that Saharan sand. I think what the important thing about that article is how fine the dust is and how it gets into the lungs and into the bloodstream, and how but also the things that it's carrying as well. So there can be airborne bacteria and different bits and pieces and allergens that can cause you to come out. Hay fever doesn't really have a thing here, does it? Because we don't have that much in the West East. But certainly allergies can be, including skin allergies, can be exacerbated by. And
it's interesting because as soon as we write about it, and the government's advice obviously is, particularly if you have breathing problems or whatever, is to stay indoors if you can. Or if you're going out, to wear a mask. Now, as soon as we write that, it's as though we've, uncovered the devil again.
Sales of tinfoil tend to go through the roof when we do something like that. I don't know why. It's just one of those things. But if you have, especially if you have, an immune disorder, or you have some sort of a problem with your immunity, COPD, or any of those kind of lung things, it's really important that you take care of yourself while the calima's around, because it can affect you quite badly. So it is important. It's not nonsense.
I think your average Joe as well is going to be affected by it. Like my son is 7, and since he was a baby, every calima, I mean, I never connected the two for a while, but it turns out every calima, he has a bad chest. We end up getting inhalers and stuff. And when I told people about it, nearly every parent that I spoke to, they were like, oh, my kid had that. They grow out of it. But it seems really common.
Absolutely. And when you're, when you're especially young and your lungs are still developing, or you're especially old and you've got, previous underlying health conditions, these, as silly as it might sound, that even the slightest amount of dust is going to not help. So calima is with us, which is also why the temperatures have suddenly shot up as well. We were looking.
How long do they last for, roughly?
Usually 48 hours, 3 days tops. But the interesting point is we've also got yellow warnings in effect for the next 48 hours for high winds, which will obviously kind of make things blow about a bit, which means the dust will be a little bit worse. Don't wash your car for a couple of days because it's going to be a little bit
and
grotty.
Will also affect the sea and the coasts.
They are coastal phenomena. They call yellow warning in effect for the weekend for coastal phenomena. So again, importantly, if you are walking coastal paths, or you're going to any of the natural pools, or you're going to the beach, pay attention to signage, flags, and don't put yourself in a position where you're going to cause yourself to need to be rescued, or you're going to cause yourself any danger taking selfies, that kind of silly thing. Temperature for the weekend, there's going to be mid-20s, so it's going to be quite fine and relatively dry because the calima's here.
Do we feel like, I mean, you are the weatherman, there might be not a lot of not a lot of scientific.
Should I get a map? Should we change this and get a map? We should get a map of the island, and then I can do.
Surely we can AI it in.
We'll get them magnetic clouds and sun, and I can put them on there like they used the old school BBC.
Yeah, you can just do it on the logo. We'll adapt it.
I'm going to forget my point in a minute. I keep hearing and having conversations about how it's been cold, and it has been, in my opinion, a long time. That it's just sort of not warmed up. Normally, by this point, I'm going to the beach and I'm getting a tan and stuff. Could this calima kind of be the turning point that a lot of people are waiting for?
I've got something really interesting to tell you.
Have you?
Yes. The Canaries, as a whole this winter into spring, has been the warmest on record.
Oh, stop. This is what England.
Do you know what I wrote about this? And I used fatal words.
Climate change.
Yeah. As soon as you use those words, people are like,
tinfoil went through the roof again.
What they're saying, Jen, is there's actually been more storms than normal.
Right.
Now, don't forget, we've said it before, our 3 square miles here in the south doesn't always get affected. Up north, now Martin, who's to my left, lives in Ecod, and it's been raining up there for quite a while, hasn't it?
It's pretty consistent.
Yeah, it's been raining a lot, and people forget that.
Yeah.
And it's a lot cooler. Yeah. Now, the average temperature across the winter, because the winter's from December the 1st to February the 28th, officially as far as meteorological terms, has actually been, the average temperature's been 15.4 degrees, which is 0.2 degrees higher than the norm. So it's actually been a slightly warmer winter.
Okay.
But it's been colder in the areas that are normally hotter, which is where you are.
Let's talk about those then, the ones that
where you are,
the ones that matter to me.
And let's also remember the difference between weather and climate. They are two different things.
Yes.
So it's important to know, yes, this is to be the turning point now. Things will be starting to get warmer as we approach. Technically, we're in spring, meteorological spring. So you'll see the temperatures start to climb up again.
Hang on. It's actually put it in the article. It said spring starts, I think it's on 22nd of March or 20th of March, at 2:46 p.m.
And not a minute sooner.
No,
it's
2:46.
2:46 p.m.
Set your watches. It goes doing.
To do with the tide, I think.
Well, I've got friends coming over, and I don't know if you do this, but they were like, "I've seen the weather's a bit rubbish. What's going on?" And like, I start feeling responsible. I start feeling like, "Oh my, yeah,
well,
it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be
off the back of what Steve said about the forums, when people are like, I'm coming over. We've had loads of messages off the back of that of people going, I'm coming in April, what's the weather going to be like? I'm coming in May, what's the weather going to be like? I'm coming at Christmas.
Yeah. We can only be very general about those time of year, about the average temperatures. Funny story. My parents, the first time they ever came here was in December for a week, and it chucked it down all week, and they've never come back. My dad, when I said, I live in Tenerife, do you want to come over and see me instead of me going to the mainland? They went, I hate Tenerife. I'm like, why do you hate Tenerife? And we went in December that one week and it rained all week. I'm like, that's not an indication of the whole island.
I feel bad for people that did like holiday mate. I always feel bad though. Like
but
also,
Jen, you did a reel about should you need a cardigan?
Yeah. Oh my days.
What? Why?
Oh my days. People had a lot to say about it.
Yeah, but you said how many views it's had. 95,000.
No, it's over that now. It's 150,000.
Wow.
Is it? Oh, between the two.
Yeah.
Sorry,
and I
between
got to
the
say,
two.
there was some lovely people like, thank you, I'm just packing, I'm flying tomorrow, say I'll pack my card. Some people were like, do you even live here? Like yeah.
You do
and
get
why would you go out without a cardigan? Like, and I didn't mean to. I just ended up out later than I wanted to be. People were so aggressive. I was like,
make
whoa.
it sound like the middle classes
I didn't mean to anger anybody.
My goodness, why do you want to wear a cardigan?
Wind it
Do you
in,
not know who
guys.
she is?
Yes.
She's Tenerife's #1 handyman.
But also, I think what we should do is maybe give the address out of here, and people can send cardies to us.
Can we
If you
get some,
wanna-
the
if you
Tenerife
wanna
Pod
crochet
cardies?
Yes.
We could do a competition to win one. I also had a lot of comments on I do a hairometer sometimes when it gets
Oh,
quite
that's
windy.
hilarious.
So I've had more than one. Get a haircut. Like, no, I like
Maybe you
hair.
should do it next time, Steve.
Yeah, I should do. Look at the hairometer. Still not here.
Right, okay, we're going to go on to our final bit of the Tenerife pod right now. What's your favourite? So, actually, I don't think I've prepped you, Steve. So I
haven't got a clue what's going on.
Well, we did Sunday dinners last week.
We
didn't
did.
We did Sunday
We
dinners
did.
last week.
I felt like there was an obvious choice today with the
Okay.
theme and having Fergal in. What's your favourite Irish bar?
Ooh.
And you can't say the Winchester.
Wow, it's not an Irish bar, so
Well,
I'm not
I
going to
know.
say that. But thanks for bringing it up again.
Have you actually chosen the
looking at-
category that you can't pick the Winchester
There
for?
wasn't
Is that
many.
I am going to pick a really nice place in Funny Bay called the O Winchester.
Maybe I'm going to go to Chris first because I feel like you've had more time to prepare while you laugh at your little jokes.
I have got. I'm going to mention two places.
Okay.
Because one of them is going back to 1993, but they both have a link.
Okay.
All right.
Go on.
And I know I talk about back in the day, but you know, Veronica's was a different place. And one of the places that I spent a lot of my early days, in fact, I still think there's a bar in Puerto La Cruz called Molly Malone's. And but Molly Malone's in Veronica's was just an iconic place, and I spent so many nights there, and I made a very, very good friend of the entertainer who was resident there, whose name was Billy McCracken. That was where I first really got good friends with Billy before we worked together at Kangaroos. And I'm going to mention as the other place that I really, really love is Paddy O'Kelly's. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Grandy's and those on the golf because they've really spent a lot of money on doing them. I love Gaelic Corner and Dublin because I think they're just landmarks. But I really like Paddy O'Kelly's. I think it's been really well done, and obviously it is Billy's home, even though he's not there at the moment. And you're just guaranteed to have a good night, a good pint, good food. You know, like Fergal said about it being home, a good Irish bar is somewhere that feels like home. Paddy O'Kelly's does for me. So I'm going to say Molly Malone's and Paddy O'Kelly's, and the link between the two of them is my good friend Billy McCracken, who's not in good health at the moment.
Can I just mention something about back in the day Veronica's? I walked past Veronica's a couple of nights ago.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Bobby's again. On
Yeah, it's been there a while upstairs.
It?
Yeah,
somebody's
done it. It's not owned by the original people
Well,
or anything like
obviously.
that.
The Bobbies.
But they, pardon?
It's not the Bobbies.
No, not the Bobbies. It's but yeah, it's there apparently.
Yeah, I was a bit sad by it. I think I was like, I don't think
There
we
was
should do that.
there was some memories. I will happily say, having not
Also, just quickly,
Go on.
we've done some fantastic OBs on St Patrick's Day from Paddy O'Kelly's as well. When Billy wasn't allowed to swear.
Yeah,
Me and Tezza.
Yeah, I remember one of them
Good luck
because
with
we
that.
were all meant to finish, and then you and Terry Ellen
Carried on.
just stayed all night.
Yeah.
We're live all night, just kept
Got
going.
drunk.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't listen back to it. Probably shouldn't. But yeah. Go on, Steve. What's your favourite Irish bar?
I haven't experienced that many Irish bars. I'm not going to lie. But the few that I've been in, again, are always such a good, and I'll use the word crack. They are a good crack. There's always great music in there. There's always a good laugh. They're always really busy. Like, I've never been in a quiet Irish bar here at all. But I will say the Dubliner, because it's always been really good, and despite how busy it is, the service is really fast. They know what they're doing in there, and you're not waiting for drinks and things like that. Good stuff. I will give an honourable mention. It's not an Irish bar, and it's not the other place that I have.
What's that got to do?
Because St Patrick, the best St Patrick's Day experience that I've had in recent years was at the Vault when we did an OB in the Vault. So an honourable mention to the Vault for its St Patrick's Day as opposed to its Irish barness.
Okay.
Well, mine is the Dubliner as well. And again, I haven't experienced. I don't really go out. I haven't for a long, long time. I'm a bit of a homie at the moment. But yeah, the Dubliner for me it just encapsulates everything.
Oh yeah, and don't get me wrong, the two Dannys are really good friends of mine, Danny and Daniel as well. And obviously when Paul Fitz was down there, etc. Yeah. My problem with the Dubliner is, I always remember going there and having a great night. I never remember leaving or getting home.
That might be true for me as well,
That's
actually.
my problem.
That sounds like a you problem rather than a them problem.
Yeah, I don't think they caused that, Chris. I think that was probably self-inflicted.
Well, thank you, guys, for another fab pod. And anybody that is going out, and this is pre-St Patrick's Day, have a great time, be safe, be careful, and see what you can remember on the way home. And we'll be back doing this all over again.
Don't forget as well, it's on YouTube, so like and subscribe. If you subscribe, then you'll know exactly when we're going to be on, because you'll get a little notification. So
are we doing a new bonus one on Tuesday again?
Should.
Yeah, I think we should too. So
on St Patrick's Day.
It will be officially St Patrick's Day. So yeah, get commenting now as well, and give us a subscribe. Thanks.